Cool. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to ZeniTalk's latest mini-series. I'm Mark Crosby-Smith, and I head up ZeniTech's digital practice, which is our customer-focused consulting division. I'm fortunate to have two very esteemed colleagues with me today. So during this session, you'll also hear from Regan Atkinson, who's our Principal Product Manager. Hey, Regan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Regan. So I'm looking forward to sharing some of our experiences of introducing product discovery, including a few of the tools and techniques used, and ultimately how to achieve a product market fit with your features.
Cool. We'll also be speaking to Peter Lim, who's one of our senior product designers. Pete.
Yes, thanks for the introduction, Mark. Hello, everyone. I'm Peter Lim, and today I'll be drilling down into the importance of usability testing within the product discovery process.
Cool. Okay, thanks, gents. Right, discovery is at the heart of what we do at the DP, whether we're focused on product development, technical and architectural assessments, UX research, InfoSec health checks, accessibility and digital inclusion audits, or product optimization and CRO. And ZeniTech's digital practice understands the art of discovery and the impact that getting it right has on a business. For us, success means achieving a combination of the right product to take your business forward while radically reducing the time and cost to bring a new product to market through effective and efficient delivery. During this series of talks, we'll share with you our experience with customers on the steps to a successful discovery process. We'll cover how to rapidly define and scope a roadmap for products and services, deliver architecture reviews that provide impactful technical solutions, and execute UX research that delivers compelling user experiences, all while gaining alignment with stakeholders through collaborative activities. Each of these three episodes will explore a different angle, looking in turn at the product, technical, and design approach to destructive. Let me just turn. No, Siri is listening to everything we do. So in this first episode, we're going to talk about product discovery, solving the right problem. We'll discuss how to avoid your CEO asking why your products don't work. We'll share our experience in how to determine if the product is worth solving to optimize development, how to maximize the impact of your roadmap and product strategy, and how to create a product market fit, which is the ultimate goal. Now then, whether you're looking to enhance an existing product or define a new service, getting started and moving forward, as I'm sure many of us have experienced, in the right direction can be hard. You can spend months building detailed plans and requirements, which often eat into your time to market and delays the speed at which you can realize the business benefits. ZeniTech's digital practice believes that to rapidly define the scope and roadmap for new products and services, it's essential to have the right people in the room. Gaining alignment with organizations' key stakeholders and subject matter experts to speed up the discovery process. Typically, we start that process off with a discovery workshop where we view the current scope for the digital services and products you need in as little as a single day. This is then followed by deep dive sessions with SMEs and key stakeholders, capturing the right information to get development started in the shortest possible time. Our expert product, user experience, and technical consultants facilitate an engaging experience for stakeholders. The exact scope of these sessions are obviously tailored uniquely to our customer's organization. Depending on our client's needs, our workshops are varied, but they can include things like looking at the business context, completing competitive SWOT analysis, and deep diving into demos of any existing systems and products. Additionally, we'd use techniques such as business problem mapping, user story mapping, and event storming. All of these techniques help us define the problem space with our clients, get agreement, a solid plan going forward with potential technical risks and issues identified. Okay, Let's bring Regan in to discuss a question we often get asked when we first engage with new customers. I mean, it comes up a lot, time and time again, right, Regan?
Oh, yes. I mean, the leadership and wider stakeholders within the companies that we start engaging with, they often want us to help them work out why their features don't have the impact they were hoping for. So this is because they perceive them to have a poor return on investment, and ultimately have been a complete waste of development time and resource. So, our approach is resonating and making sure the right problem is solved.
Okay. Why don't you give us an example of where that's happened?
I mean, there are multiple reasons for this, including rushing out an MVP, poor UX, new UI decisions, whether that's designed by committee or just not the right people in the business, untested scenarios, and lack of alignment within the business on a solution that works across the entire product set. Many of these issues boil down to a complete lack of qualitative and quantitative research and discovery, and then being massively impatient in wanting to get something out quickly. And by getting something out quickly, what you're doing is you're probably solving the wrong problem, or you're launching the wrong solution, even if it's the right problem to solve with your customers. So both of these scenarios are likely scenarios, meaning there's not a product market fit for what's actually been developed. So just for example, with a previous client, the company had the classic Hippo. For those who don't know, it's the highest paid person's opinion. And in this case, just so happened to be the CEO. A disastrous combination. This person wanted everything done in far less time than was available to do the development. And on top of that, didn't afford others an opinion based on proper user research and discovery, ultimately leading to something being rushed, and then the view of one person's view was right.
Yeah. Again, we've seen this quite a lot. So how's it best to interact with this type of character? It's potentially a difficult situation.
Absolutely, and sadly, it's still commonplace for a lot of product teams. So whilst I'm hoping this doesn't resonate with most people here, I hope for those that are in a similar situation that this will help and will help you. So for one particular client, the CEO was directing that any feature should be delivered in half the time the engineers or product team would estimate in their sizing sessions. I'm sure it's a familiar story to most. And in this case, the outcome was missed deadlines, and this is not new. There's still no way to bring a feature in without cutting scope, but an already lean feature, this further cut means a cut in quality. So ultimately, though, the main result was a rushed feature or rushed features that we weren't even sure that users actually wanted to use, and they're working out what was the problem to be solved. It just wasn't done.
Yeah. Okay. So how do we kick this off typically, and then what follows that kickoff?
So in this example, we introduced Senatech's lean discovery model, whereby we had a full one-day workshop with all of the key stakeholders, really going back to the basics of what the problem was in trying to be solved and prioritizing the value of that problem against other problems. So then we created an empowered product team, product manager, product designer, tech lead, with the time, and give them the time to create the qual, quant, and tech discovery to come up with a solution that we were certain would solve an actual prioritized problem. Mm-hmm. So, firstly, we're drilling into, is this a problem we're solving, and do users have a problem? In a concise workshop session with a variety of stakeholders to help gain a more extensive set of viewpoints rather than just one with a Hippo. And then secondly, upon identifying the problem, identifying it as a problem actually solving, we're moving into technical discovery, engineering, product and design. All of us work together with the key stakeholders on the best solution options, with possibilities, all the risks and the challenges associated with it. And so this then enabled us to move into a technical sprint zero rapidly, with much more certainty, or at least some certainty on the problem and potential solution. Uh-huh. And so additionally, in this, with the difficulty of dealing with the Hippo, we actually had to convince this person to not only try out the new proposed methodology, but we also use lean discovery workshops with a much wider cross-section of the business. So we did actually get other people to speak up and share opinions, because at the end of the day, all product people know, everyone has a view, and challenges from others are absolutely needed to make sure you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, the significance of getting the right people in the room, which we will touch on time and time again. But how did this help create features of value?
Sure. So, because firstly, you have an actual problem to solve, and it's not just one person's opinion, whether that person's a customer, a CEO, or a product manager. You have a wide viewpoint with an actual problem to solve. Everyone has an opinion, but listening to one and one only will lead to, also can lead to the engineering product team astray. Mm-hmm. So, and then secondly, with proper product discovery, we've got a solution or set of solution options to solve the real problem that we've identified. And because the product team is empowered, we've then got a solution as technically feasible, estimated, and solving a problem we're solving. And therefore, ultimately, we're going to drive value from what we're creating, ensuring a positive reception from end users and an actual return on investment. So just on the case previously mentioned, this client was happy in the end. The outcomes were strategically of value. And then also when we talk about outcomes, we talk about outcomes, not output, as output measures do not address the value or impact from the users, whereas outcomes is the level of performance achieved and the impact of agreed metrics.
Yeah, okay. So look, let's get back to this significance of having the right people in the room.
Yeah, sure. By giving the right people in the business and the customer base the opportunity to voice their opinion, what we've done is save potentially lots of wasted development time and ensure we have a proper product market fit with an informed product strategy on many levels of qual and quant data. And so just quickly on product market fit, what we mean is that we haven't solved a problem for just 1, 2, or 3 end users. We solved a problem for many users, and they've gone on to tell users about their product, about the product or feature that you developed, so you're more likely to improve your acquisition funnel. And having multiple voices in the room will ensure that you're going down the right path, solving the right problem. Because it's easy to get railroaded with one strong person's view.
Yeah, agreed. And obviously viral advocacy there. I mean, it's the irony of having the right people in the room leads to hopefully delivering a product that people love and adore and share. And that viral advocacy is a pot of gold when it comes to developing the right product. So in terms of discovery and research, what methodologies do we use and have you used?
Crikey, I mean, there's such a huge variety of options available depending on the exact solution, so the exact situation of the problem space, the company and the availability of potential end users, including we can include techniques such as mass surveys. So for example, using SurveyMonkey, getting a very large volume of data from 5 to 25 questions, enough questions to stop people dropping off and getting bored, but a mass volume of data was really important. Within existing product surveys and feedback, so using tools such as Hotjar and MPS, and also within existing tools, multivariate testing is also great for existing products because we've got the chance to gain real life feedback in a short period of time. But then, in my opinion, the best is usability testing. And in the situation we previously talked about, we relied upon this heavily for that, solving our problems there.
Yeah, cool. Yeva, I'm not sure if you can help. Yeah. So let's have a vote. Do you use user research as part of your discovery? We'd love to find out. I'm just trying to launch the poll. There we go. Thanks, Yeva. We'll just give you a minute or two to answer a few questions. And we'll leave that up for you as well. Okay, so let's move on. So let's now drill down into how usability testing works and how it can work well. I want to bring Pete in for this conversation. Peter.
Sure. Well, at Zenitech, I think we really believe that sort of user research is one of the sort of essential components of the product discovery process. I think that objective, honest feedback will ultimately enhance the product success to ensure it meets the needs and also sort of the expectations of an organization's target users.
Yeah, and look, there are many studies that prove that, right?
Yeah, 100%. We're actually discussing one this week. IBM completed a study in 2018. I think it concluded sort of by implementing user research early in the product development process, organizations were able to reduce the development time by 33% and also decrease the time to market by 50%. So these statistics clearly demonstrate the true significance of usability testing and research.
Yeah, and it's obvious, right? As Attaining, we truly believe that usability testing and user research is fundamental to building a right product. But what would you expect from not completing user research, for example?
Yeah, so I think sometimes organizations believe usability testing is sometimes a bit of a waste of time, waste of money, or waste of resources. I think without completing user research, organizations increase the risk of developing products that simply fail to meet the needs of their users. This potentially sort of leads to development, expensive development revisions later on. I think it's also worth mentioning, I think the cost savings will vary depending on the scope and complexity of your project. But Forrester Research published a report that estimated that a return of $100 to $1,000 for every dollar that you invest in user research. So here's just further examples of the stats that signify the importance and also the value of user research.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had some experience of this, but how would you tackle this with budget or time restrictions?
Yeah, I think firstly, don't stress. Although it's a bit frustrating, it's way more common than people think. And when you're hit with a budget and time constraints, an appropriate action would be to make sort of educated assumptions based on your experience or supporting secondary research. I think this really is really helpful to gain a deeper understanding of the context of the problem you're trying to solve, and also aligns all the stakeholders in the room and provides them sort of with a consistent background of that information. Only caveat of secondary research is to keep in mind that the insights obtained may lack sort of specific relevance to your particular problem. So kind of interpret these with some caution, and also where possible, validate it with sort of additional research methods as well.
Yeah, okay. So whereby in situations where assumptions have needed to be made, the importance then, can you talk us about a client where we've excelled with the discovery and usability testing in particular?
Yes, absolutely. So an excellent recent example is from a partnership that delivers cleaner and smarter ground transportation options for cities. So it's really refreshing that this mass mobility as a service platform sort of recognised the importance of usability testing and the power of that data sort of driven insights that you'll get from it. So I think there's an extensive range of platforms online, but sort of at Attaining, and more recently particularly, we've used Maze to help with some of the usability testing activities. For example, we initially conducted a series of user interviews, however, still required some clarification on the categorization of each transport mode. The card sorting tool that's provided by Maze highlighted the user's attitudes and expectations, and increasingly enough, sort of, I think it was about approximately 80 to 90% aligned with our original assumptions. So that was really sort of promising to see.
Yeah, absolutely. It's proved very, very powerful. And why was this card sorting activity so important?
Yeah, I think so. It was a secondary activity, and I think although the remaining sort of 10 to 20% of our assumptions seem sort of minor in the overall picture that maybe didn't quite align with the user's expectations, I think by completing these additional tests, we were able to sort of further increase our confidence in the results and deliver a more coherent and user-friendly product. I think we did have another screen as well. So there's a quick one on just the, this one here on screen. I think, so in addition to this thematic analysis that we completed from the user interviews, here's an example on screen of some of the sort of built-in analysis tools offered by Maze. So this one's an agreement matrix, and we used it to identify the patterns and general consensus from the data from the card sorting activity. And from this data was able to use to facilitate further design iterations. So it was a really successful task.
Yeah. And Pete, tell me about the selection process and when and what research methods are most applicable.
Yeah, so sure. I think choosing the most appropriate research method and when to use it can be pretty daunting. Like Regan said, there's such a large quantity of research methods available. So I think it really depends on your sort of the research goals, the scope of the project, available resources, and also sort of the timeline of the project. Some of the ones that we commonly use are usability testing, user interviews, card sorting, and surveys, and even analytics. And they seem to give us sort of the most successful results. And I think without telling the audience of how to suck eggs, I just want to dive deeper into sort of just a couple of distinct approaches, qualitative and quantitative research. So I think the quant research methods focus on the sort of numerical data and the statistical analysis, whereas the qualitative research really helps to understand the why, and it gives you sort of a better understanding into the user's behaviors, motivations, and attitudes as well.
Yeah, cool. And what about moderated and unmoderated user testing?
Yeah, well, moderated user testing sort of says it in the name, self-explanatory. It involves a moderator to instruct participants through a testing program. This enables them to sort of observe their behavior and also gather that rich qualitative insight in real time. I think these insights help to understand the why, like we previously mentioned, and it gives an opportunity to sort of dive deeper with follow-up questions to understand the problem that we're trying to solve. Unmoderated testing is provides the opportunity to collect quant data sort of efficiently and at scale, and also quickly. It's relying on participants to complete tasks independently. So, for example, surveys. There's swings and roundabouts to it. I think sort of moderated testing sometimes requires sort of more experience and skilled researcher, whereas I think unmoderated, you kind of lack that qualitative insight. So swings and roundabouts, and it depends on the project that you were in on that time.
Yeah, so on that point, selecting the most appropriate method, why is that so important?
Yeah, it's crucial to select the correct research method. I think it's crucial for obtaining accurate and actionable insights. So I also think it's selecting the wrong research method can lead to sort of biased results, misinterpretation of the findings, and also potentially sort of costly design and development revisions later on.
Right. Okay. And on this topic, I know this is a favorite one of yours. Tell us about the significance of accessibility testing too. It should never be an afterthought, right?
No, of course. I think accessibility isn't just a buzzword, and unfortunately it is often overlooked. And I think this sort of creates usability barriers, exclusion, frustration, and discrimination for a lot of users. So I think you're right. By implementing sort of accessibility testing in the product development process early on, it ultimately will just increase an organization's customer base, significantly improve their user experience, ensure regulation compliance, and even improve brand perception sort of that resonates with all customers. And I think just one last bit, just to sort of on this topic, I think iOS's native accessibility functions, as pictured on the screen, I think it provides a lot of flexibility and accommodates sort of a lot of users with different cognitive and also motor needs. So this could include voiceover, Zoom, personalized command and gestures, and there's a ton load more. And it's really exciting that the next iOS release, iOS 17, is due in September, sort of includes an optimization of this. One of the examples was personal voice. I'm really excited sort of to dive deeper and know more about them. And I think we're going to discuss it in one of sort of the upcoming sort of Zenny talks as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get onto that subject and looking forward to you and the team telling us more about that in the third episode of this mini-series. So look, I'd like to summarize the key challenges that we have experienced that organizations face in discovery when they're trying to define their products and services. So firstly, unless stakeholders are aligned around a unique and powerful product vision, silos are created, which often leads to people being unmotivated to contribute to the product's success. Secondly, gathering detailed requirements through long drawn-out definition phases can take weeks or even months before roadmaps and release plans can be defined. This leads to slow development pace and always a missed market opportunity. Next, defining product scope and objectives in silos often causes friction, misalignment, and lack of innovation. And finally, estimating the cost, duration, and team structure of software development can take, again, weeks, if not months, of analyzing the requirements in detail, and even then they can then be inaccurate. So let's talk about the benefits that we've learned and that we'd like to kind of like pass on of Zenitech's approach to overcoming those challenges. Firstly, rapidly define the scope and roadmap for product and services, starting with an inclusive and immersive single-day workshop. That really is the kickoff to all of this. Secondly, gain alignment with your organization stakeholders through collaborative activities. It's really important to get the right people in the room involved. That's a key message from this talk. And to make sure that they have a voice to bring the best of what that product needs to be to the table. Thirdly, identify risks and issues with bringing the product to market and try to create strategies to overcome them. Discuss and agree the high-level technical approach, obviously vitally important. It isn't always a case that it should be build rather than buy. From our point of view, it's all about what is right for the business. Produce high-resolution concepts or prototypes to inspire boardroom decisions. This is a pet favorite of mine and something that I've been doing for most of my career. It's really important to basically put in front of C-suite and anyone that's making decisions about how that money is going to be spent to develop that product, to show them what it's going to look like. And then following lean discovery, ideation, story mapping, and deep dives with SMEs unlock the ability to provide really accurate development estimates and proposals in less than 2 weeks. I want to talk a little bit now about kind of what happens next, right? So efficient discovery, of course, allows delivery to get off to a flying start, but it doesn't stop there. This model that we regularly adopt to bring high performance to any software delivery project, allowing initiation, discovery, and planning for sprint 0 to kick off, followed by continuous discovery and UX and UI to feed development, while delivering working software into the hands of your customers on a regular release cycle. So what does this look like? From our point of view, we want to talk about the output of such a session. We've recently published a case study detailing some of the activities that we've discussed today with a recent client. Make sure you check it out on our website at zenitech.co.uk. It's also widely available on our LinkedIn page, which is getting a lot of traction. At Zenitech, we also believe in showing the art of the possible. I touched on it a little while ago about what does that look like. Part of the vital ingredients for Zenitech's special sauce, if you like, for us, there's nothing more powerful, as I alluded to, than showing C-suite what their product is going to look like. It helps to clarify the outcome of successful discovery proposals by providing a tangible view of how our customers' customers will view and interact with their products. In this example, which was a well-being product that had the potential to be branded for each company who used it, so those users felt that it was their company that was giving them this benefit. As part of the discovery output, we proposed a platform capable of easily delivering white label versions of their key product. So we showed them what that could look like. Next, as well as the rich visuals and a companion deck, obviously, to walk you through the proposition, it's also really important to articulate that output in a thorough document that covers product, technology approach, UX, and UI vision. I'd like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you for attending today's first session for the Art of Discovery. I hope we've been able to convey our experience of how to determine if the problem is worth solving in the first place and to help optimize that development. Hopefully, you've learned how to maximize the impact of your roadmap and product strategy and how to create a market fit, which, as we said, is the ultimate goal. The next episodes in this mini-series focus on technical design approaches to distinct discovery. So we very much look forward to seeing you there. Now then, I think we've got some questions. Let me just have a quick look. Right, first one for Regan properly. Will too much discovery slow down the process?
Yeah, I mean, it's a question that I have been asked before. and there are studies around this, but not doing a proper discovery could lead to 25% of the development time being used for rework. So a little more upfront discovery and planning will ultimately lead to less development cycle time. So it's not slowing down any process. It's helping you do the right thing more quickly.
Yeah, okay. If any of you, with the time that's left, by the way, want to ask us any questions, then feel free. You can go to the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen and type in anything you'd like to be asked. Alternatively, if you want to talk to us kind of, offline, you can reach out to us via email and just ask us any questions you like, or hook up with me. One other question here is probably best for Pete. Any studies to support accessibility testing during the product discovery process? I think we've looked at quite a few of these, haven't we?
Yeah, there was a couple of years back, there was one completed by Accenture. They concluded sort of the organizations that prioritized accessibility financially exceeded their competitors. That was sort of the general outcome. I don't have the specific stats to hand, but I think considering 15% of the world's population live with a form of disability, I think just generally ensuring your product and services are fully accessible would sort of you'd gain a significant competitive advantage over your competitors.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. And again, I know that you and the rest of our design team are really passionate about accessibility. And for sure, it's a very, very important component to be able to build into your product and services. It's really essential in building stickiness for that product as well. And again, happy to speak to you at any stage about how we might be able to help you with that. I've got another question. How to maximize the benefit of lean discovery session one day, ensuring everyone in the session and their concerns are heard whilst ensuring the objective of the session is met. Okay, so I'm going to let Regan come into this, but certainly from my experience, what's super important is ensuring that you've got the right people in the room and that the hippo is not the only voice. Therefore, especially during ideation, everyone has a chance to basically put their ideas forward. And what we ensure, as well as keeping to a very strict timetable, Jason, is that we are allowing everyone to have their own thoughts and then get up and put them on the board. So, for example, the CEO can get up and put, or whoever, the hippo, can get up and put all their ideas up, but so can the other important people in the room. And that tends to be internal customers. It's right that we get people from operations, people from marketing, people from sales, the people from the commercial team. It's essential that they're involved. We definitely steer that session to make sure that people's voices are heard. That's the advantage of us running it for them, if you like. Regan, I'm not sure if you've got anything else to add to Jason's question.
No, I was just going to add on about making sure the right people in your room. But with your workshop, I mean, it doesn't have to be a full day. I mean, it could be 3 or 4 hours, but the crucial thing is planning it as well. Making it, because people's time is precious. So if you're going to get people in the room, away from their day job, so to speak, you've got to make sure that it's well planned, well thought through, and you're doing the right activities. No one workshop that I've run or we've run actually has been the same. There's a rough theme to each one, but the outcomes are always such as you will know that you're solving the right problems and they're prioritized. You've had all of the right people's inputs. And you come away with something useful and tangible, rather than getting one person's opinion or a load of people's opinion that actually may not be the right people. So people planning and making sure the agenda's right are important. Yeah,
Pete, you got anything to add to that?
I think you guys have covered most of it. I think it aligns. I've seen some friendly names pop up on the side with some of the design sprint activities we've done in the past as well. I think it ultimately does go back to providing everyone with that voice, the different activities that we sort of cover in that product discovery, and also user research. I think it's it's always making sure sort of the quiet people are heard. Sometimes you always get the boisterous people that talk over people, but it's ultimately giving everyone the time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too, Pete. And I think, we called it like the tea lady scenario as well. It's effectively, a boardroom full of, an old fashioned boardroom full of, people trying to solve the problem. And
Yes.
ultimately it's the end user who in this instance is kind of serving them tea and biscuits that basically says, you should really do that. And I think, again, it's really important to make sure, we help with the attendee list, and with our experience, we're able to say these are the type of people that you should be having involved and making sure that they have a voice.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't think we've got any more questions, so that's cool. I really appreciate people turning up, and we're very excited to have you come along to the following 2 episodes in this mini series. So look out for the dates of those. We'll be sending information out to you so you can book your slots. Love to give you 8 minutes back of your valuable lunchtime, and we'll look forward to seeing you again real soon. Regan, thanks very much for your support. Likewise, Pete, likewise, Yeva, who is in the background, making sure that everything ran smoothly. Hope it did. We'll look forward to seeing you real soon. Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.